Colorado has a Travis Hunter problem, and it's not his comments about the offensive line.
You are Locked On Buffs, your daily podcast on the Colorado Buffaloes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Buffs. I am your host, Kevin Borba. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege, all one word, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. We are also brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day for free and available wherever you get your podcasts, and we all love free things. So make sure to like, subscribe, follow. My everydayers, you know who you are. You tune in every day. You like, you subscribe, you follow, you do all of it. I appreciate you. Let's dive in. Colorado currently has a Travis Hunter problem. Well, I think Deion Sanders more so than Colorado. And it's not really anything that's going to affect them in a negative way. It's more so, are they doing what's best for him? And I'll elaborate. Obviously, Travis Hunter is a top 5, top 10 at worst player in college football, right? Elite receiver, elite corner. But where does he belong is the question. I keep seeing mock drafts and I keep seeing people talk about, oh, he's better at receiver, or he has all pro potential at this position and Pro Bowl potential at this position. And it's like, where does he actually belong? Well, let's just talk about from a skill standpoint. I think from what we've seen from Travis Hunter, he's been better as a receiver. Now, that's obviously because Colorado was able to sort of air things out and on offense and defensively, their defense was terrible. So the secondary was kind of. Sorry, my mic muted. There was no pass rush. There was no this. There was no that. I think realistically, Travis Hunter, he has a choice to make, because I think and at the college level, let me preface this. It doesn't matter where he plays at the college level. We had Adoree Jackson. We had Miles Jack. There was the fullback from Oregon State. There's been guys who have done it before. We've seen guys play both ways. We've seen guys sort of do a little bit of everything. And I think for Travis Hunter, he should continue to do that at Colorado, because that's where he is maximized for Colorado. But where is he maximized there? I think there's a lot of things to consider. For one, let's just look at the average salary. So the average salary for an NFL wide receiver is $2.7 million. The average salary of a DB in the NFL is 2.4. Okay. Average career length, wide receivers have the advantage. They just have an ability to have a longer prime. You look at Larry Fitzgerald, who I don't think Larry was ever, I don't want to take away his athleticism, but I don't think he was ever the most athletic guy, right? But he played until he was old. Julian Edelman was not the most athletic guy by any means. He played until the wheels fell off for him, and he was always making plays. Like, if you're a wide receiver who could get open, make plays, make some plays get some yards after the catch, you have a chance. And everyone's talking about him being a two-way star in the NFL. This is a ranking of the NFL's best two-way stars. From 1 to 11, these are who they are. And I'm going to give you the skinny about each of them, because I just don't think it's a viable path for Travis. I think realistically, he needs to pick a position. I think for him, money-wise, longevity, and sort of best way to maximize his brand, wide receiver. Who doesn't love touchdowns? Who doesn't love the long ball? You know what they say, chicks love the long ball. But realistically, it's up to him. I think he sort of has the mindset of a defensive back where he loves playing defense. And so that's great. He has been injury prone, which could, or not, I won't say injury prone. Let me correct that. He has had injury issues. He got injured at Jackson State. And then obviously the Colorado State injury was a freak thing that didn't really matter if he was playing offense or defense. It was a cheap shot that he wasn't expecting. But nonetheless, he has struggled with injuries. He had an injury his senior year of high school as well. So does him taking hits versus him delivering hits play a factor? Maybe. Maybe he might think that, hey, if I play offense, I'm more prone to getting hit. Whereas if I play defense, I'm the one choosing and delivering the hits. Now, he is kind of undersized according to all the NFL scouts and stuff. So that could be a factor as well. But here are the top 11 two-way players of all time, according to NFL.com. Adoree Jackson, who I talked about earlier, um, really stuck on defense, really didn't have a lot of offensive moments. JJ Watt, he got a few gimmicky sort of touchdowns as a tight end for the Texans. They never really used him both ways. Devin Hester was someone who I don't think he ever had a true position outside of special teams. Like, he was a star as a kick returner, but as a receiver, as a corner, as a safety, whatever, he just was never that guy, if you will. Like, he never stuck at a certain position. But he was fast. He was an elite returner. Mike Vrabel, again, linebacker, got some action at tight end. He had 10 catches for 14 yards and 10 touchdowns. So again, he made an impact. Patrick Peterson, I think, is the one player that could have played both ways had he wanted to. But by the time the Cardinals decided to do it, it was a little late, and I don't think they really committed to it. They have Dontari Poe, who had a 1-yard rushing touchdown one time. Julian Edelman, when he was still trying to figure out his path in the NFL, they put him at corner one time. And I feel like Julian Edelman's one of those guys where he's probably just really good at everything. Troy Brown, Randy Moss, Rob Gronkowski, all guys who, again, it's just not a viable path. It's not sustainable. I think people don't realize, regardless of how in shape you are, regardless of how strong mentally and physically you are, the NFL beats you up. I've talked to NFL players before, and they've said the day after, like, you're physically, and these are guys who aren't, like, there's certain positions where it's different, right? Like, if you're obviously a punter or a kicker, you probably don't feel this way. If you're a quarterback, you may be sore, but if you're in the trenches, if you're a receiver or a corner who's always, or not, a receiver's not making tackles, but if you're getting tackled, a corner is always trying to hop in the mix there. It's hard to walk the next day. These guys are sore as a what. And so having to play more snaps, right? Is that the smartest move? Or having to limit himself on one side of the field, because an NFL team's not going to be like, hey, Travis, we want you to play every snap of every game and you'll do just fine. Because the NFL, they have way more games, right? They have way more games. They have 17 games plus the playoffs if you make it. That's so many games. And so is Travis Hunter going to be able to play that many snaps for that long? No, they're going to run him into the ground. So then you look at how he performed. Well, I would say he had better stats as a receiver, if I'm being honest. As a corner, according to PFF, he ranked as the 226th player in the country. I thought it was interesting. Now, this isn't like a measure of anything at all, but EA Sports actually listed him as a receiver rather than a corner. He can play both ways on the game, but they listed him as a receiver. NFL experts like ESPN's Matt Miller, they view him as a Garrett Wilson type player. And it's like, okay, or excuse me, Daniel Jeremiah, not Matt Miller. Daniel Jeremiah said he views him as a Garrett Wilson type player. And it's like, okay, all of his comps are to receivers. He's viewed as a better receiver than he is a corner. And I think receiver is just an all-around better move. Does this affect Colorado at all? Should Colorado sort of conserve him? I think they should. I think Travis Hunter, it's weird. For Colorado, I think it depends on how good the corners are, right? You bring in DJ McKinney, you bring in Preston Hodge, you have other youngsters, you have the transfer from Furman, I believe it's from Furman, Ivan Yates. And you look at those guys, and it's like, if they can hold up, I think Travis Hunter is probably the best receiver in the country. If they can hold up without him, I think he should focus on receiver. If the secondary struggles without Travis Hunter, I think he should probably play more corner than receiver, but I still think he's better as a receiver. So this is an interesting dilemma, excuse me. I don't know why my voice gave out right there. Interesting dilemma that Colorado sort of has. And I think Deion Sanders will eventually have to have a chat with Travis. Be like, hey, you're a brand. You're a business. You got to do what's best for you at the end of the day. We all know you can do both at an elite level, but that doesn't mean you have to do both at an elite level, right? So comment below, which position do you think Travis Hunter should be playing in the NFL or even at Colorado? Should they ration him? Should they force him to play one position? You guys let me know what you think. When we come back, Deion Sanders got a bonus and people are upset about it. I don't know why though. This episode of Locked on Buffs is brought to you by our sponsors over at Game Time. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Pick out any specific game or event that you'd like to attend, and they have the best deal. I guarantee it. And if they don't, guess what? They have their lowest price guarantee, where they will credit you 110% of the difference. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Welcome back to Locked on Buffs. I appreciate you guys for tuning in every single day, making me your first listen of the day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. For my everydayers, you know who you are. You tune in every day. You like, you subscribe, you follow. I appreciate you, and I need to see more of you guys in the comment section. Make sure to share this with some friends so that way we can build this community. Let's talk about it. Deion Sanders got a bonus, and of course, people are mad. And this is very reminiscent of Colorado being someone's Super Bowl conversation, where it's like, I think people are looking at the overall story and missing the main point. And it's like, why do we do this to ourselves? I don't know, but it's what we do. So the University of Colorado gave Deion Sanders a bonus of $250,000 last year for the national recognition that he brought to the program. So the bonus hadn't been made public, and it's not something you typically see. It wasn't part of any sort of, like, this wasn't like, hey, you get us this many viewers, you get this much money. Like, Deion Sanders is already making $5.5 million. He's already had a ton of money from his playing career. He's got TV deals all the time. He's not light in the pockets, but I think Colorado's trying to do right by Deion Sanders. So the bonus came after the season. This is confirmed by a USA Today report, and it said Sanders to earn an employee, or it says Deion Sanders is to earn an employee recognition bonus for the national recognition he has brought to the university and the athletic department this season. So not many coaches get that, but not many coaches generate the sort of attention. And so it continues on saying this employee recognition bonus is a discretionary bonus awarded by the athletic director, Rick George, for the immense impact Deion Sanders has made on the football program, the athletic department, and the university in his first season. And what did he do, sort of? Well, let's talk about it. In his first year, he's only for Boulder 1 year. It has been confirmed that he gained the university over $340 million in media value. He also, for reference, they have him at $87 million before he was there. So they literally made. Let me just look at this. Let me bust out the handy dandy calculator because I'm not that good at math. Not that fast, at least. 87 million. They made $256 million in a year because of Deion Sanders. He boosted the local economy. They have more applicants, people wanting to go to Colorado, and Colorado's just at an all-time sort of high in terms of buzz. So it's like, why would they not? Why would they not want to sort of be like, hey, we appreciate all that you've done? They generated viewership like no other. I think there was only 2 or 3 programs that had more viewership than them. I think it was Alabama, Ohio State, and Georgia, if I'm not mistaken. Colorado was a top earner in viewership. Their game against Colorado State broke records. Their game against Stanford broke records. Every game they played seemingly was must-see TV, regardless of how good the team was. So for people upset about Deion Sanders getting a bonus because they had a 4-8 record, let's not forget 4-8 was a successful season. Now, 4-8 doesn't get you in a bowl game. 4-8 doesn't get you contending for anything, but they were 1-11 the year before, and the program was down in the dumps. It was as bad as it gets. Colorado was the laughing stock of college football. Had Deion Sanders not been there, do they get into the Big 12? Who knows, right? Obviously, the Big 12 wanted the four corner schools, but are they as privy to taking Colorado if, say, Carl Durrell was there for another year and they went 3-9? Is Colorado like, are they like, yeah, we need Colorado? Is Colorado feeling as confident to make a move like that? Probably not, because then the Big 12 likely sort of is like, hey, we want you in the sense of we get your market, but, You haven't been really living up to performance lately. You haven't been living up to any sort of expectations. Your performance has been eh. Can you take a little less on for the conference, right? That's a sort of situation that they could have been in had Deion Sanders not been there, possibly. So everyone worked up about another person's money. Relax. Deion Sanders is sort of revitalizing college football for Colorado, and he's bringing in a ton of new attention. And realistically, Colorado has to keep him happy. It's as simple as that. If and when, and I think it's a win, Deion Sanders has success, other programs will come knocking because they want that attention too. So, what can Colorado do to make sure that, hey, we're going to make sure he stays here? They have to offer him whatever they can to make sure that he is as happy as can be, as happy as a clam. So, I find that really interesting that people are really upset about it. But again, it's Deion Sanders. So, I feel like people are always worked up about it. Speaking of, people are worked up over comments that Billy Napier appeared to make about Deion Sanders in Colorado. Welcome back to Locked On Buffs. I appreciate you guys for tuning in every single day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, share this with a friend so that way we could grow this community. That way people can see my fresh haircut. I just got a fresh hair, beard trim, feeling good, looking good, I'd like to say. Okay, let's talk about Billy Napier, Florida head coach on the hot seat. Really interesting sort of deal there. I actually think Florida is the one job in college football right now where if I was concerned about Deion Sanders leaving Colorado for a job, it'd be that one. He'd be able to return to Florida, SEC. Florida's arguably one of the biggest brands in college football ever. And Deion Sanders in Florida, it would be so easy for him to recruit there. Now, that's obviously getting way ahead of ourselves. I think he's very happy in Boulder, and that's just all sort of here nor there. Let's talk about what Billy Napier said, though. So, if you guys haven't been keeping up, make sure to go check out my past couple episodes. Cormani McClain has been former Colorado corner, former 5-star. He has been the talk of the town, right? It was reported that he was struggling. He was showing up late to meetings, was missing meetings in Florida. And there was a report or a rumor, however you want to put it, that he was kicked off the team. And I was like, oh, Cormani McClain, not on the team in Boulder. Is everything all right? Or is this just sort of is this just how his career is going to be, where he just is fizzling out wherever he goes? That was denied by Florida. They were like, hey, he's still on the team. He's doing great. Had his best week as a Gator recently. So let's just pump the brakes on that. But Billy Napier addressed the Cormani McClain comments, or the hiccups all of a sudden. He addressed the issues with Cormani McClain, alleged issues. And he said some comments, and people are kind of taking them offensively. And I think Billy Napier he needs to pump the brakes a little bit on himself over there. So I think a lot of this has been blown out of proportion. I think he's a young player. Obviously, we're well aware of his history. Cormani's a local kid from Lakeland. He's got relationships with players on our team. We run a tight ship. There's structure, there's routine, there's discipline, there's accountability. So a lot of people are taking that as him saying, well, this is different. This isn't Colorado. This isn't Deion Sanders' program. This is my program. And to that, I say congratulations, I guess. I think it's really hard for people not involved with the program to make judgments about another program unless you're there firsthand. You could hear all you want. There was a coach that left the program, Colorado's program, who I had talked to, someone very close to them, and they were like, yeah, it's a mess right now. This was around the time that Sean Lewis had been demoted. They're like, it's a mess. No one knows what's happening. Everyone's kind of on edge. And it's like, okay, that's a little odd. But again, everyone has different perspectives. Deion Sanders has a different perspective on everything. All the coaches have different perspectives on everything. Cormani McClain said he wanted to go to a program that's going to develop him and where he's not going to play for clicks, even though he released a video about not playing for clicks on his YouTube, where I'm sure he has some monetization stuff there. So at the end of the day, I know people are worked up about this because I know people, Colorado fans specifically, Deion Sanders fans specifically, get worked up about people taking shots at him. Deion Sanders is a big boy. He'll be okay. He'll be just fine. And you just have to remember, people are going to take shots at him because he's doing things differently. He's getting attention, and they either don't like that or they want some of that attention. Who knows? But at the end of the day, you just have to think Deion Sanders is going to do what's best for his program. Billy Napier is going to do what's best for his program. And I think Cormani McClain is trying to do what's best for his career, and I hope it all works out for him. And I hope it all works out for Billy Napier, who's on the hot seat this year in Florida. It'll be really interesting to see how they manage that really tough schedule. So, everyone, it's okay. Relax. It's fine. We're okay. I appreciate you guys for tuning in to Locked On Buffs. Hope you guys had a great time as I did. And I will see you guys next week. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, and I appreciate all the support that you guys give me.